All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Leading Crypto. I'm joined today by none other than the Prince of Dubai, the vape god himself, the mustache maker, Mr. Burr Max. Today, we're going to be covering, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at the DXY. We're going to take a look at Ethereum. We do have a brand new month, that's really exciting because we have new monthly levels. We have new key levels. We have new ranges. We have all good things kind of formulating here in the shorter to midterm here. We got another month down in the last quarter of the year, so really gives us a good amount of things to work off of here in the short term. We also have a nice holiday coming up here soon. As you can see, I went with the Christmas tree background today, so Max is getting his delivered. He's got the Ferrari today, so he couldn't go pick it up, but it's getting delivered to the 80th floor of the his Dubai penthouse. So that should be in there shortly. The travel vlog is coming soon for sure, Mr. Carl Gallagher. But yeah, so if that sounds good to you guys, if you want to keep up with all of our information here, we do come live to you every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, covering essentially at least Bitcoin, Ethereum, DXY, and the S&P 500, along with whatever the flavor of the week is. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. Tune in every single day, and we're just going to jump right into it. So, Prince of Dubai, how's the weather over there, sir?
It's actually getting a lot cooler. It's very nice. We've got to find some new nicknames. They are awful. You may want to call it my own arse.
I mean, yours are pretty sweet, man. But we'll make it our way just to Burr Max. So, yeah, the mustache maker though, that one just rolled off the tongue. It was kind of like market maker. So I thought that was a good one.
We'll give you that.
All right, cool. So one of the things that I titled the video today, Bitcoin sees the worst monthly close in 2 years, right? So I literally just go right over to Cointelegraph and I rip the number one headline of the day. Whether we actually talk on it or not is debatable, but we're gonna take a look at that today. So Max, do you want to actually pull up Bitcoin real quick to start us off?
I'll do that.
Perfect.
Okay, so we were down here yesterday and we were mentioning the single prints, and we really said that the previous week high is an important level to hold. Now, we never had, well, actually we did on a real low time frame get a little back test of it, but the fact that you weren't really finding acceptance down there, so keep that in your mind. I actually do have it on here, but it's ugly. So the fact that you weren't finding acceptance on the short side down here, if you're looking at it, so when we came below the previous week high, which was also an SFP, so you really had to be careful shorting down here because it had the possibility to rise. We said you want something like this, but the fact you never took the low, and also this is why I really like order flow. Okay, when you're looking for like acceptance into areas, you can literally see buyers and sellers in the charts. So you came down, huge selling. That was like the highest volume we had at that point in the day, I believe, and it was pretty much all selling. Then you had some shorts come in. Okay, and then we're thinking, okay, maybe we're getting acceptance. However, they were slap bang at the bottom of that candle, and they were put underwater effectively straight away. And then you had a delta switch up, which everyone knows that is what you want to see for a rise. And then you had buyers come into the market. You had positive delta, increase in open interest. Okay, and you've also, at this point, you've taken the low from earlier in the day. So, okay, SFP. Now, how do they trade? Well, you've got your banging balances there. It's your entry, so candle's also closed. Enter, stop loss goes below the low. Granted, it did come back down and test you. However, again, all the selling, that's 3.1 million there, and they failed to push the price $10. That's been held up by someone. And you can kind of spot it when you've got negative 1.6 million delta and 3.2. Granted, it's not huge and, it's not confirmed positions changing hands. But the fact that you have got $3.1 million either selling or going, pretty much all selling and not going, maybe some going short, and they've failed to do anything, it doesn't favor the downside. Let's just put it that way. Whenever you see a large amount of buying or selling taking place, if they're not really moving the price, you're kind of looking at it like, what's going on here? Why is how is $3 million not able to move the price $10? You have to really be thinking about that. But anyway, the SFP played out. And then overnight, you can see you had a couple of percentage rise. Now, we had our member stream here. I'm going to go over what we went, in the morning. I'm going to go over what we mentioned here because I will be honest, I'm going to blow some smoke up my own arse. It was pretty nice. The fact we had the move up here, it was on decreasing open interest. We mentioned in the member stream that, when you're having a move come in and you're trying to gauge the strength of it, a lot of moves, they start on decreasing open interest. Reason being is, it's just trapping short or, people on the other side of the move, and it's trapping them and they're effectively getting stopped out and liquidated. And you had a ton of liquidations and stoppages. You can see from the rect alone, you got 1.2 million shorts liquidated there. That is like a very considerable amount of positions to get liquidated. There's not that many people over leveraging to a point where they're getting liquidated like that. Not a 1.2 million blip. You don't really see that too often. But then, to gauge the strength, because obviously it was a weak move at that point, you'd not seen any interest coming from the buyer's side. You have to see buyers come in, otherwise you're going to give up all the room that you've just made. And you had buyers come into the market. You had buyers come in and they tried to go up again. But on this attempt, it was on decreasing open interest and, relatively low volume compared to what we've seen. Now, we also mentioned this in yesterday's stream because you had a weekly naked point of control here. You also had some stop losses from way back here. So, you've got an old high there, weekly naked point of control. I don't set limit orders, but I was sleeping when we came up here. But I know Magic got a limit order on this, and quite a funny thing happened in the member stream. He told us his exact stop loss price, and looking at the price action, I said from where we were at the point. So I'm going to hide the marks because it makes a mess. So the stream for me was at 6:30. So we were here around this price action. And looking at it, I mentioned in the stream that looking at the price action that we've had now, you've got decreasing delta. Okay, so that's shorts or sales. And you've got increasing open interest. So what we can identify there is that you've got shorts piling into the market. I mentioned in the stream that I would expect the high to be taken purely from that. The fact you've got the shorts coming into the market, I would say preemptively coming into the market. Because you've not really had a setup there. Granted, you have a trade down here, but these shorts have all front ran the SFP setup, and I would say it's arguably not the best setup when you've had, you've spent quite a bit of time up there. It's almost like 3 hours above the high that they're trying to say the SFP or type thing. But the fact you had tons of shorts enter there, and then price didn't do anything for the whole day. Really didn't. You got I got one trade out in the whole day before all this madness occurred, and we're going to go over that. And it was literally basic stuff. It was the Asia low, SFP'd here. But we had the Dalton as well, and people were shorting in anticipation. We had some members in the group mention, there's a Dalton possibility. Now, I have said this on stream many times, but you want to always be trading unless you're losing. Let me get them all marked up. Where are they coming? Unless you're losing the previous day value area high, which is coming in here, which is also very neat as well, because you're coming into an area where losing the previous day value area high, you're going to be trapping a load of longs. Now, if these longs, because looking at the price action here, where are these guys going to be putting their stop losses? Well, I doubt very much so that they're going to be putting them down here. I imagine they're just going to be popping them here. So with that in mind, without the loss of this price action, and when you do lose it, if you spot positions changing hands, well, it's not something you're going to want to just trade against straight away, because yes, there's positions underwater, but they got their stop losses here and there's a bigger position filling along. It's not something that you really want to trade against. So I mentioned to them, you want to be trading the first bounce to the previous value area high if it's given and the order flow is good on it, because they're the only ways, unless you're trading closures from the bounce as the SFP, which it was possible. But unless you're spotting, solid order flow on that, it's a riskier trade, but it's been a given as of late that you're going to bounce from the top of the value area before you even break into it. It really has been a given as of late. But yeah, the only trade that I took before the madness occurred was Asia low here, and we took it just before the New York session started on the London session. Now, it was a difficult one because looking at the order flow, it wasn't super clear until you'd made it pretty much to where the candle closed. Ton of selling coming in, but at the time the OI was really down. Now you made it back up, you got a buying imbalance, so that means buyers are interested. And then the next candle, you had a ton of buying, it was sustained. So you had increasing open interest and positive delta. Now, regrettably, I did close this at the daily open. Deep regret, because an hour later, not sure what really occurred. I'm guessing, if we go over to Dixie lost its low around the similar time and didn't have a swing failure pattern. It just dumped. So, maybe they are somewhat correlated, but it's for another day. But looking at the order flow on it, it was such a weak rise. Again, a huge liquidation, no buyers interested. Delta was really weak on the move. Volume was actually okay, but because of the open interest and the delta, it was never going to hold. And then as soon as you get back below it, you get the closure. Okay, if you're just using candle closures, there's your entry, stop loss above the high. Then you also had a ton of selling come in, and you had tons of selling coming in. A couple million here. The delta is really negative. The shorts entering, positions closing out, and where do we come to? Right down to the previous day value area high. Granted, it wicked below, but there was a lot of shorts coming in down here, and then what you had is you had a lot of buyers coming in as well, and then they forced the price back up, which it certainly offered a TP, and I know Magic TP'd there. I TP'd that. I know Danny in the group TP'd there. It was one of the best spots you could have TP'd. Where do you come up to? Well, you came up, back tested the daily open, and down we go again with shorts increasing on the decline as well. So where do I see this going for now? Well, I think we just tapped the pivot, to be honest with you. I need to double check that. But loss of the pivot, which comes in, let me find it. Just tapped the pivot. So, if we really do lose that, you've got what you've got below is where you've got the previously point of control. And then you come back down to the previous week high, which was the place that we were talking about yesterday. So same thing really goes. If you're not already in a trade, this isn't really the place to be. It's not really the place to be leveraging a short. But the Dalton is a valid setup, and that's two 30-minute closes below this area. And I would say you need to find acceptance more than just taking the closures. So have we had acceptance? I would say it's too soon to call, because yes, we've had shorts coming in, open interest increasing, but we're just swing failing this low for now. So it's not a trade I'm going to take, this one. However, looking at where we are with the support that we've got right below us, which is the pivot as well as the golden pocket. If you pull it from the low, I don't think this was the absolute low yesterday, but from this low here to the high, we've got the golden pocket here as well. So it's a place you could be looking for long as well. So it's certainly a difficult place right now to take a trade in either a direction. I'm not going to be shorting here. I'm already in one. I'm not going to be longing here unless it's completely a given. And right now it's not looking too good. But yeah, Dixie, after the news broke out yesterday, it's been on a bit of a tear. It's obviously Jerome Powell was talking about easing up on the interest rates increases a little bit. So, it's good for the markets. It's good for Bitcoin. It's not good for Dixie. And they had a huge dump. And now today it's lost the low. Whether it regains it or not will be very telling, I think, for us in the Bitcoin price. But, we have to wait and see. You can't really preempt it. But if it does fail to lose that, regain them lows, well, and it keeps dumping, it could look very good for us, especially if the markets take it well. But looking at it, they're actually down as well. Let me just bring that one over. I don't have a chart set up for it, but they've actually just dumped in the last hour. They've started to dump as well, and they've got a lot of room to go here. So if we do a really basic fib pull from here to there, they've got a lot of room that they could really drop, and that could quite heavily impact us. Where that would take us, not quite too sure, but I can imagine it'd be at least below the previous week high. So interesting stuff. We're finally getting some volatility, which is good. Love to see it. At tradable time as well. Yeah, looks like we're getting a bounce now, so let's just check it out. Volume's pretty low, and that one was mainly selling. So you really got to wait and see what you get here. But yeah, CVO, I'm pretty much done. There's not much else to say other than below the previous week high, we do have the single print still, so don't forget them. They haven't gone anywhere, so keep them in your mind.
Loving it, sir. First rule of leading crypto, though, is never fade magic.
Yeah, it did. It didn't actually hit his stop loss. It was like, what was it, like $30, $40 away? And he gave the level to a T. I know yesterday in the stream, he was mentioning he's going to keep some sauce behind for the members. And yeah, he certainly did. It was like, I think it was like $5 off what it was. It was incredible. Really.
Yeah. It's always a good time, those member market updates, especially like last night with it coming in right at the monthly close. The monthly closes are always just money, man. Like it's definitely a time to be paying attention. The weekly close as well. So we do the members only market update every Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, right after the weekly close. You always get the most volatility there as well. But yeah, the monthly closes are a good time. So I got Ethereum pulled up here. And low time frame, right? So just kind of looking at just a couple of major levels here, right? So we had today's key level, which obviously we've been, we've met. We've got the new monthly coming in at about 1350, 1348, comes in right at the quarterly VWAP as well. Still got this untapped daily down here, and then the overall untapped daily all the way back down to like 1038, right? So 1038, however you want to look at it. Realistically, we come back down to this region, I would look down all the way to like 1009. If you haven't been following along, that's definitely the region there. So that $30, $40 window, if we come down to it. In the short term, however, I would imagine that we do something along the lines of this, right? And come actually up, tag this monthly that we did just form, come up right into the quarterly VWAP. And then if we're going to get a rejection from there, maybe we start making our way down into the end of December, middle of December, however it plays out. But either way, that's just pure speculation at the moment. But, we'll break it down here as we go. At the moment, you do have a low, high, higher low, higher high, so on and so forth. So you got a little bit of an uptrend in the works here, which does, lead me to believe that we're probably going to see this in the short term. Last night in the group, right? Get the daily updates. Right? Put over here. We had the Dalton in play at 7:21 p.m. Right? So we had the previous day high. We had our daily open. This essentially would have been your entry. We did have the VWAP coming in right below this. So I mean, realistically, you'd really want to see. It depends on how aggressive you want to be. Personally, I took the daily open back test, but realistically you wanted to see a reclaim back into the previous day value rate high, live within there for a couple of candles, and then start targeting. We had the previous day point of control and the daily key level obviously lined up pretty well here at 1272. I did take this trade personally, but I did, like I said, take it at the daily open. I put my stop loss just above this high right here, which was 1306. So I did not get stopped out on that wick. We'll take a look at this here in a second. I'll throw up the previous day information here. So we'll throw that right there. There it is. Minus that one because I didn't put it on because it was pretty much the daily key level. So that's all we needed. So yeah, here, you had, and we'll throw on the daily open real quick. So we had the daily open right here, got the back test. Obviously, like I said, you had the VWAP right here. But essentially, we were targeting back down to the previous day, point of control, daily key level. And then overall, obviously, you're targeting the previous day value area low. Personally, I just took the trade from the day open to the POC. I closed out in full. Did post that in the group as well, right? So We did meet that earlier today, once again, with the wick back up towards, 1,300. I did have my stop loss at 1,306, so I did not get stopped out on there. And as you can see, Dalton played out 36%, pretty aggressive on the leverage. I'm not going to lie. I mean, that's a little higher than I tend to go most times, but that's just the risk that I was willing to take there. And for anybody else, right, looking at this in the shorter term here, what did we do? So back test the daily open, right? Lost it, got your VWAP lost, and you came in, you start living within the value area high. So this is definitely your entry at this point. You're now below your daily open, you're below your VWAP, you're back within the previous day range, and then you're targeting lower, right? So the only thing is that, if you have a tight stop loss, this is gonna happen, right? And it's gonna wick you out. So, like I said, I took it a little bit more aggressive here. Had stop loss up in this region. Very possible to have gotten stopped out myself. Realistically, I mean, above the previous day high, is realistically where you want to, or where we could have came all the way back up to, done nothing, and then still came back down. We did not, however. You got this nice little wick up, came back down, closed back within this region. So if you hadn't even entered until any time, this would have been the one. 15-minute time frame, very low. I mean, this is a really nice entry right here. If you got that wick up, came back down, scooted back, closed below, that was the move. Down she goes. Previous morning control, daily key level now is met. Got a bounce, got a basically rejection off the VWAP here, and we're more than likely making our way back down towards the previous day value area low here at 1257. Got the previous day low here at 1253, and then we'll start, kind of making moves from there. Very possible, however, to just literally just cycle this range and then, make our way back up. Do have this untapped monthly now, which is a pretty big area to have on your chart, 1348.55. That's one area I'll be looking for personally. And this is all low time frame stuff here. Obviously, we do still have, like I said in the beginning, you got, your major areas down here. If we start making our way down to it, we're going to take a zoom out here and look at it. And we'll zoom out to the 4 hour. So that was, that's the more intraday movement there, right? So looking at this on a grand scale, the one area that, I talked about for quite a while is this 1221 region, right? So start living back above this. We've seen how we lived below here for, the better part of November. Did get a break above, holding above it now. Possible to come back down, back test this. And see where things take us from there. But losing this region once again, you still have these two. I mean, realistically, it's this untapped daily for me. This 1,037. It's on Bybit, 1,031 on Coinbase. Still looking for that to the downside, but not like completely in love with it at the moment, right? Like to where it's like you can't completely marry that and then just assume we're only going down. You really have to start like monitoring, what happens in, this region. So as far as upside goes, I still would like to see for, continuation to take over this region. So it's 1453, get the reclaim, start closing 4 hour, 12-hour dailies above this region, probably challenge into this weekly. We have a couple of major targets above us. Otherwise, though, very well could even come up to this region, get a rejection, and all you'd be doing is essentially high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and so on. So this still remains my major inflection point short term, right? So it's that 1,031, 1,038, the untapped daily, untapped daily, untapped daily. If you ever come down and tag this, I'm going to make a straight clip of me just saying this untapped daily for the last 6 months. Not really 6 months, but ever since July, which actually I guess is 6 months at this point. But yeah, so that's one thing to kind of keep in mind. Otherwise, short term, still have some short term opportunities ahead of us. So it's essentially pretty much the gist there. One thing I did want to bring up is Doge, right? So I brought up Doge pretty heavily, back over the last few weeks here. Had a really nice bearish bat that completed right here at this weekly. No news needed, right? So that's one of the things here. It's kind of like whose line is it anyways? It's where the charts are king and the news doesn't matter, right? So old show there for anybody that doesn't catch that, right? So it's like the points didn't matter. But we ran it up. We had a really nice target base coming back all the way down to 0.082, which was like a 40% drop at the time, 45% drop. This was, the news at the time was Twitter and Elon taking over Twitter or whatever. Super technical though, right? Ran it up, reclaimed the range, ran up to our techno statistical target here, got the SFP at the high, ran right into that weekly, completed the bat here. Completed that bearish bat. Major target comes back to the B leg. You had a golden pocket right here as well. Daily level, obviously we dipped below that, but this was a really nice trade. While everybody was FOMOing in at the high, I was shorting this personally back down to this region, right? So I didn't get the entire move, but got a big chunk of it there. So what do I bring this up for now? It's because, in the short term here, you got the November range here, and what you can see here is you got a lowercase b profile, which is indicative of a continuation to the downside. So even though in the short term here, we might have a little bit more of a rally, you got a golden pocket and untapped weekly right here, coming in like 13 cents. I'd be paying attention for that. This kind of correlates with if Ethereum pushes up, Bitcoin pushes up a little bit more, and then we get a decent pullback, possibly down towards the untapped daily for Ethereum. Obviously, maybe we make a new low for Bitcoin, who knows? But, last time Doge took a plunge like this, the whole market took a pretty big hit. So if we come up to this region, start getting rejected, and you start coming back down and living back below this area once again, I'd imagine that's, going to be across the board for the market. So just something to kind of keep in mind. I'm not in an active position on Doge right now, but I would probably be looking to take a short position around this region if given. So it does come in right at the overall high, golden pocket, untapped weekly. A lot of stuff crowding this area out right here. So I would imagine that this is going to offer up a pretty decent short. And then if you just run that down from the high back to the point of control, another 30% win there. So Danny. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist. Not trying to give out too much sauce here. We did have a really nice overall market update last night in the members only section in the leading crypto Discord server. But aside from that, nothing that we don't traditionally cover here daily anyway. So Ethereum, Bitcoin, DXY, Doge, I just throw that out there just because can be a leading indicator, I guess, in the fact of the entire market. My man over here. But yeah, so what else we got, Max? So we want to take a look at anything else?
I've got nothing. Looks like we just had a solid buyback on the it wicked through the golden pocket, but it's nice to spot the wicks that are coming now. The fact that you've got the wicks to the downside, okay, it shows you there's buying interest. And if you go into the order flow, it does show buying interest. The imbalance is it's not a big one that we've got.
Do you want to pull it up real quick?
I'll pull it up because I'm just talking and no one knows I'm on about.
I like it. Gonna start pulling up the order flow for Ethereum here shortly.
It's this one here. So this low, which we made just a bit earlier, duplicated. And let me hide my mock levels. So we know that we've got a golden pocket here. We mentioned it just a minute ago. Now you've got wicks coming into the downside. It's like a really basic thing to keep an eye on. It's wicks. It's like the first thing that you kind of teach or learn about when you go on YouTube and you're searching up how to read candlesticks. They show you all the patterns, but really the only real thing that you need to know is the wicks. Are the wicks coming to the upside or are they to the downside? Because it just shows you where buyers are interested or sellers are interested. Really basic stuff. And then when you look at it on this software, we've taken the low here, wicked below it, and at the start when we actually took it, it was really heavy selling, and it kind of continued. But on this candle here, you have had a solid buyback. So it wasn't positions changing hands as such because it was sellers shorting hit or people closing their positions, but then you've had people buying here. So it effectively is positions changing hands. That's why the OI has that wick through, but we've made it back up. So it's it's more possible that this is some sort of a bounce, but I really would be taking profits, pretty quickly if anyone is to take a trade here, because of just, the stop loss has to go below here, because if you put it anywhere else, you're just going to be free falling, because we've already identified that the buyers in this move, they came in here. So we're below effectively the support. The next support is down here, bit a bit below us. So, you've got to be cautious on taking a trade here. Do we actually bounce from the VWAP close? They are good sometimes. The VWAP close, look at that. Bounce directly from it. Wick through the golden pocket and bounce from the VWAP close from yesterday. That's pretty neat, actually, that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I've got nothing else to go over.
Beautiful. Cool, man. Well, nice and short and sweet for everybody. Let's see here. Throw this back up. Perfect. And take out a max. Awesome. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this, pretty brief update, but I feel like we, tend to jam pack it as much as possible. So give you the most bang for your time here. My man Magic is he's in travel mode, and he's coming actually down to my neck of the woods. So we'll actually be we'll be right next to this Christmas tree, he and I, on tomorrow's stream. So be sure to tune in for that. We're going to take a measurement test to see how tall I am compared to Max and Magic. So we're gonna definitely level that up, and might have the Chihuahua make an appearance. Who knows? He's got his tongue hanging out. He's taking a nap in the background, but otherwise, be sure to, like I said, like and subscribe to the channel. Do this every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, covering essentially the market as a whole, whatever the flavor of the week is, and just kind of just diving into things across the board. So we tend to not really pay attention to the news, but we do bring it up as necessary. Obviously, the fiscal policy is definitely more of things that we pay attention to versus a hard fork for Cardano or whatever the case may be. Scam wicks and things of that nature, trying to wick out my boy Magic on the way up. But otherwise, thank you all for tuning in. If you're interested in joining the Leading Crypto Discord server, information for that is in the description box below. We do host a members only market update every Wednesday and every Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, where we go even more in depth. We cover a lot more altcoins. We go a lot more into the Bitcoin chart, things more mid to long term as well, not just the short term. And you can ask questions, things of that nature. We actually have a general public area as well. If you want to make any requests for certain coins you want to see, or just ask questions if you are on the fence about joining, things of that nature. So otherwise, thank you all very much. Enjoy your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in this beautiful world. And until next time, CVO and Burr Milk out.